Welcome back to the Lowdown Podcast, your home for the untold stories of sports, presented by Lojo Media. I'm your host, Lauren A. Jones, live in Los Angeles. Thank you guys for tuning in, and you can follow the podcast on social media at the Lowdown Podcast. Now, I have a very special guest joining me by phone, Aaron Holiday from UCLA, the starting point guard at UCLA, and I'm really excited to have him on. His Instagram handle is The Fourth Holiday, and I want to start there. Aaron, are you on?
Yes, hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for joining the show. So you're the youngest sibling of the Holidays, and I like to call them the first family of basketball, starting with your oldest sibling, Justin, who is an NBA champion with the Golden State Warriors, currently plays for the Bulls. Then it's Drew, who is a starting shooting guard for the New Orleans Pelicans, trickles down to Lauren, the lone daughter of the family, who also played at UCLA, and of course you're the youngest. Those are some big shoes to fill. Tell me what it's like to be a part of that family.
Just very competitive. Everything we do, basically, we compete for it, whether it's cards or just going out swimming or just playing basketball. We always compete in anything we do, and just taught me a lot how to really compete and be fearless of anybody, pretty much, because they're older than me, so I had a lot of battles with them when I was younger, and they just taught me to be fearless, basically.
Do you ever feel pressure to kind of live up to the legacy that they are, leaving behind?
Not really. During high school, I knew I was my own player, and I'm my own person. A lot of people used to call me like Little Drew or whatever, but I didn't let it get to me much because I knew who I was and how good I could be, pretty much. I'm not going to basically live off their legacy.
Absolutely. Well, you guys do look very similar, but I guess that's just the genetics. So what are family dinners like in the Holiday household? Who's the funny one? Who's kind of the chill one? Tell me a little bit about the dynamic.
Oh, wow. It's been a while since we had a family dinner like that. Well, I guess we're all kind of funny in our own ways. Mm-hmm. My dad probably would be the funniest. My mom's funny too, but out of the siblings, I don't know who's the funniest. I guess we're funny in our own little way, and we obviously do what all the families do, argue and all that stuff, but I guess we're all pretty funny, and I would say I would be the most chill. Then it might be
I could definitely
Drew.
See that.
Yeah. Then it might be Drew.
Mm-hmm.
Drew and Justin are kind of in between, but I know it's me. I'll say Drew and Justin and more.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm going to I want one word to describe each person in your family, starting with your mom, Toya.
Strong.
Okay, what about your dad, Sean?
Let me see. What's a good one for my dad? I mean, he's just inspirational, pretty much.
Yeah. And what about Lauren?
Leader.
Okay, love that. Drew?
Let me see. I have to think about Drew.
Okay, what about Justin?
Let me see. I gotta think about him, too. I'll say Justin's ambitious.
Oh, I love that. What about, okay, so we'll table Drew for a while, and then I just want to ask you kind of, I know that your family is very close-knit, especially your parents being at the helm. They're very strong, and, they've raised some amazing kids. How would you characterize the dynamic between your mom and your dad and your relationship with them?
They're just down-to-earth people. I can talk to them about anything. Whatever happens to me, I know I can go to them and always be there to support me. And no matter what, if I want to go to the NBA or do anything in life, I know my parents are going to be there to support me. So we have a pretty good connection and strong base, just how they taught me and how I was raised.
Awesome. Well, I know that you are now an uncle. Both Justin and Drew have daughters. You have two nieces, right?
Yes.
What's that like, being an uncle?
It's cool. Obviously, I don't get to see him that much playing basketball, but
right.
it's fun being around them when I can. They're awesome. It's just crazy that my brothers are parents.
I know, right? I
It's
remember when we
pretty
were
cool.
all in high school, a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah, it feels like yesterday, though.
It does. It really does. So let's talk basketball, shall we? I mean, obviously a lot of people are tuning in to hear about you, and, you know, you kind of were thrust into this new role at UCLA with all the craziness that happened at the beginning of the season with 3 former players in China and being suspended indefinitely. There was just a lot of turmoil and adversity that hit UCLA to start the season. So you were kind of put into this new role. What was that adjustment like for you?
Well, it wasn't much of an adjustment. I always felt like I was like a leader, pretty much, so to speak, throughout high school and college. But it obviously gets tough when you have such young guys, and I'm pretty much young playing the point position in college because I didn't do it last year or that much last year or my freshman year. So
Right.
it's fun. I get to show everybody what I can do basically while leading the team and being that guy that really gets everybody in place and produces a lot while I'm doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you're averaging 19 points, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds this season. You're on the Wooden Watch list. I mean, I know that you said in a press conference you don't really pay too much attention to the accolades, but what are you most proud of this season?
I'm proud of where I've come from, basically, and how our team has handled these situations where adversity has hit us a lot, but we still persevere and got things done, and we're in a pretty good position right now. We could be in a better one, but, you know, we let some games slip away, but we're still in a pretty good position to where we can go forward and make the tournament. So I think just how we were able to come together and just play through everything, that's what I'm mostly proud about.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the career that you've had thus far. I know last year you initially were considering going to the NBA draft, rather, and then you withdrew your name. What went into that decision, and are you happy that you kind of came back to UCLA?
Well, yeah, I put my name in and I withdrew it. I think that was just the best option for me. I think I still had a lot to prove, even though I've proven a lot last year.
Right.
I still think that there's parts of my game that the next level hasn't seen. So just coming back and working on those and just being able to show that now, I think it was a good decision to come back.
So you came back to UCLA. A pretty prominent committee committed to UCLA earlier this week, Sharif O'Neal, who decommitted from Arizona amidst all the controversy surrounding them. What was your initial thoughts when you heard that Sharif was coming to UCLA?
I'm just happy for him. UCLA is a great school, great education, and it's in LA. That's where everybody really wants to be at.
Yes.
The weather's always nice, and it's just a great place to be. So I'm just really happy for him.
I don't know if he chose the right school being a Trojan over here, but I'm, happy that he's going to be at home and people get to see him play. Before Pac-12 tournament play, you guys, your Bruins, take on my Trojans in the last game of the regular season. Now, the last 2 games you guys have dropped in a row and are 3-7 on the road. So what's your team's mindset going into Saturday's matchup against USC?
Defense, just playing hard. I feel like if we play defense, we'll win more games than we lose. So our main focus is getting our defense right, and I guess that would really lead to offense for us. So
absolutely. Now, I have USC senior guard Elijah Stewart in studio joining me, and I'll be bringing him in. But he described playing at UCLA as, quote, "This is an actual rivalry game. People are going to talk about our mamas, people are going to talk about our grandmas, and it's a personal thing." So for you, what is it like coming to USC? Is that environment the same amount of intensity as Pauley?
For sure. They usually bring a lot of fans when we come. It's for sure a rivalry game, and it's just fun. I like going out there and just playing. It's usually a big crowd, great game always. So it's usually just fun for me.
Yeah, it was definitely a close nail-biter last game. I was at Pauley, and you guys had it rocking in there. So I'm hoping that my Trojans will come out in true form and show up and show out. But you mentioned a little bit earlier, playing in a lesser role in the last 2 years, and one of them was, playing behind Lonzo Ball. So what was that experience like, and how do you think his game has kind of transferred to the NBA?
You said, sorry, what did you ask at the end?
I was asking how you think Lonzo Ball's game has transferred to the NBA and what it was like playing behind him.
Oh, I mean, it was cool. Just to go against him every day in practice. For the most part, we had battles, and it was fun. And obviously, he helped us get to the next level with all the guys we had there. A lot of talent, and he was able to help us a lot. So the next level, I guess, he's just really a great passer. And you could see that watching the Lakers. He finds people, gets everybody involved, and people enjoy actually playing with him. So
absolutely. Well, I'm going to circle back to the earlier question. Did you think of one word to describe Drew?
I think I'm going to go with ambitious as well.
Okay, fair enough. He's definitely ambitious, definitely. I'd say confident. That's what the word that comes to mind when I think of Drew. But
yeah, I could see that.
Definitely. Well, Lonzo had some very interesting comments to the media after that Yahoo report surfaced, linking the current and former college players to the NBA agent. And, I kind of want to just touch on it briefly with you. He said, quote, all the money they generate for the programs and stuff, it's kind of an unfair system. Everybody knows everybody's getting paid, and that's how it is. You might as well make it legal. That's how I feel. As a student athlete who's going through, traveling and all of the things that come along with being a student athlete, the unseen hours, being a student full-time and an athlete full-time, what are your thoughts on those comments?
That's just how he feels. I mean, at the end of the day, NCAA is going to control what they can.
Yeah.
And not being an amateur or being an amateur is what they really consider. So I don't think they're going to change that rule, and that's just how it's going to be. You got to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, I really wanted to thank you for joining me. It was awesome speaking with you. Good luck this weekend at the tournament and beyond. And we'll be watching. So congratulations on your career thus far, and thank you again for joining us.
Mm-hmm, thank you.
All right. Get to tutoring. Okay.
Right.
So now I want to welcome in senior guard Elijah Stewart for USC men's basketball. I'm going to take these off now. Get my hair a little fluffed in. Okay.
I didn't know I had to wear those or not.
No, you're all good. So welcome. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. So, you moved from Louisiana, the other LA, to LA in 7th grade. We were just talking about it a moment ago. You played basketball at Westchester and ended up at USC. What went into your decision to attend USC?
It was really more of bad luck kind of came my way. My coaches at LMU got fired. I was really committed to them.
Okay.
So I got most of my publicity from their athletic pages and stuff. So they'll post my highlights and just my stats and stuff. So once I decommitted, I was one of the last top 100 kids left in LA. So it was between me and I think Miles Turner. I think he went to Texas. And people were trying to package dealers and stuff. I really didn't know the kid, but they kind of wanted a shooter to surround him. But USC was the best look for me. It was close around my high school. I always get support back from them. And it was just a perfect fit. So
now you're a senior. What, if you could describe your experience at USC in a song lyric or a song title, how would you describe it? Drake would be the most appropriate, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just trying to think. Honestly, we started from the bottom, to be honest. But also, with all the recent stuff going on, people, speak the pressure, but we know the pressure. Wifey of spice like David Beckham.
Oh. Oh, spin that hot fire.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that USC basketball is the best that it's been in a very long time. I can attest to that because when I was on campus, we were winning about 3 maybe games.
What year was that?
It was 2000. And I don't want to talk about it because it was a while ago.
Okay.
No, just kidding. But I graduated in 2014 and got there in 2010. So it was a rough patch with Kevin O'Neal.
I do know that group.
Yeah, it was. I mean, some guys made it to the NBA, which was awesome. But to watch them as a unit, it was a struggle.
Yeah, they had a lot of good individual.
Exactly. Yeah, it just didn't come together very well. So I used to go to games to watch the opposing team. Normally Kansas and all those guys. But anyways, what has it been like to be a part of the program now that it's turned around?
It's been a blessing. Honestly, me and J-Mac came in and we were the people who like actually stayed and proceeded to change the culture around.
Mm-hmm.
The other two people we came with, it just wasn't a good fit for them. So they left to go do their own thing and find like better opportunities at other programs. But me and J-Mac stayed and we really did what we came to do. We changed around the program. Now people talking about USC basketball.
Yeah, it's awesome. So what are your thoughts? I mentioned this a moment ago to Aaron, but what are your thoughts on the term kind of student athlete? What was that experience like for you on campus?
Student athlete at USC is exactly what it is, student athlete. Coaches put bookwork over sports, no matter if you like it or not. We get in arguments all the time about it. But you really have to get your academics out the way before you can even like touch a basketball. I know sometimes we'll have to miss practice to go take a test or to finish up a paper or something like that. They're really lenient about that, and they really focus on the bookwork because the school is really hard to get into and just stay in the school.
Absolutely, I can attest to that. What was your major, or what is your major rather?
I majored in economics.
Wow,
yeah.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, all my classmates were foreign exchange students, basically. A lot of them came from, there's like a Beijing academy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a lot of them like read and speak very well, too much English, so it's kind of like
were you
hard
learning
to
a
find
little
study buddies, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you getting to learn a little foreign languages?
I never picked up on Mandarin.
Okay.
The closest I came to it was, I think I was taking a GE, and they were speaking Mandarin during a final.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay, yeah. Like
that's intense.
Yeah, it was really crazy.
So the last game of the regular season is on Saturday. It's the rival UCLA. You guys didn't squeeze it out at Poly. What are your emotions going into, your last game as a senior at USC for the regular season?
So my whole day is going to be leading up to the game. I have a lot of family coming in. I'm not trying to get emotional. Everyone's trying to make me emotional right now. Hopefully I keep all my tears in before I play and afterwards get a good cry in.
Yeah.
With the W.
With a W. I love to hear that. Yes. We need that W. Anywho, so March Madness is also around the corner. But before that, you guys have the Pac-12 tournament. Mm-hmm. So you guys are the favorite. Now that Arizona has gone through whatever they're going through, with NCAA, what do you think a win as a Pac-12 champion would mean for your season as a senior?
Honestly, we would have accomplished just about everything that we came to do. That last tournament win would be amazing if we could get that.
Yes.
But I think Johnny Cochran's over there working for Arizona right now. They didn't got everybody back. I think the coach back. I think Trier's get to play again.
Yeah.
So they're still the same beast.
Right.
They're going to be really hard to beat, but on a neutral court, I feel like we could beat anybody.
Absolutely. I also have to ask, because you guys had a little bit of controversy going into the season as well with the assistant coach, Tony Bland, being linked to some FBI investigation, and then DeAnthony Melton being deemed ineligible. I don't think anybody really saw that coming to begin the season. And then most recently, Chimezie was thrown into the mix. Obviously, his name has been cleared, and thankful for that. But how have you guys dealt with the adversity, and how has your team fared through all of that?
Well, honestly, all the pieces that we had get in tune with the FBI investigation, they were all kind of found to be innocent to a certain extent. When it came to DeAnthony Melton's case, I don't really know exactly what happened with him. Yeah. But Chimezie and both, they were just kind of put on the list as like we don't know, honestly. Right. It just kind of seems like the guy's just trying to bring down as many people as he can. So that's unfortunate to like those families out there who like really are innocent and they have to go through that process with the FBI and investigation.
Right.
But I mean, in the world of basketball, everyone's trying to get something from you.
It's very serious. So now I need the lowdown. What's one thing that most people don't know about you?
Don't know about me?
Yeah.
I don't know. People think I like care about things I don't really care about, you know. I'm kind of like more about making sure that my family's in a good position. So like everything I do is just for them, you know. I'm kind of like the mortar for the family. So whatever they need me to do, I went and got my college degree for them. And whatever else they need me to do, I'll probably keep doing it.
What's your favorite shoe to hoop in?
Right now, probably the Paul Georges. Those are really good ones.
Okay.
Yeah, really good shoe. It's comfortable. It fits my foot pretty well. It's kind of like the shoe is like molded for me.
Are you going to be sporting them on Saturday at the game?
I could. No, I think I'm wearing my Kyrie's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like my Kyrie's too.
Kyrie's. Not mad at either of those choices.
Yeah.
When I hoop, I normally lace up the PGs.
PGs?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I think we might be hooping in Jordans for my senior night.
What?
I'm not sure.
In the J's?
It just depends. I might pull out the Columbias.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you got options.
I got options, yeah.
Well, we're going to have to tune in to just see what you decide to pull out.
It depends on what I can break in time.
You only have 2
Nike might
days.
not like that.
Yikes.
Yeah. I don't get a check.
Well, so long as you have a great game and you pull out that win, we don't care what you hoop in, to be honest.
Yeah, that's all that matters. I feel like people get caught up in the wrong thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining the show. I really appreciate it, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me.
No, awesome. This was good. Yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. So, last night, this is, of course, Lojo's Weekend Sports. Last night I covered the Houston Rockets and the Los Angeles Clippers game at Staples Center, and it was the return of the Houston Rockets to Staples Center after the debacle that happened earlier this season. You know, I was really looking forward to this game, but Blake Griffin was traded in the time that, you know, since then, and James Harden was on the court last night. And so what made for a great time was a play that happened in the first quarter. It kind of set the tone for the game. You may have caught it on pretty much any and every sports media outlet that there is. I think I even saw it on like CBS this morning. It was that epic. So James Harden crosses over Wesley Johnson of the Clippers, and Wes falls on the ground. So James stares him down until Wesley gets back up and literally steps back and hits a 3 in his face. You know, it was one of the most disrespectful plays, but just so purely great. And to be able to see that in person was amazing. So after the game, naturally, ESPN, we can roll the tape. This is what they put on Instagram.
The same as it is in every play? Q?
Now, the amazing reporter...
Q?
The amazing reporter that asked the question that led to that answer was none other than, let's roll the tape. Oh, give me a second. Well, it was me, guys. Anticlimactic, but it was me. James, take us through that play, the stare down. What was the mentality going into that play?
The same as it is in every play? Q?
James, take us through that play, the stare down. What was the mentality going into that play?
The same as it is in every play? Q?
So I'm just really proud because a lot of the reporting that I've been doing has been getting picked up by some of the major hitters in the media outlet. And, you know, leading up to All-Star Weekend, I was really nervous about covering my first All-Star, it being in LA. And it's nice to be acknowledged in a way of, you know, having content that I reported being on ESPN. So that's just a little brief. But 3 myths that I learned about the NCAA and the term student athlete. That's a lot of what we were talking about on today's show. We had 2 exemplary student athletes on the show today. So number 1 is scholarships are not guaranteed. Besides it being at USC, where they now have offered 4-year scholarships to students, at every other institution, scholarships are not guaranteed. So let's say that somebody gets injured or something happens. their scholarship can be taken from year to year, and it's evaluated sometimes based on play, sometimes based on extracurricular activities. So for people to say you're guaranteed an education, well, your scholarship could be taken at any time. So that's not a guarantee, in my opinion. And then also, there's this idea that student athletes get the education and that's how they're compensated. Well, most student athletes are dissuaded from economics. I think Elijah Stewart is kind of an exception rather than the rule. I know a lot of guys, especially on the football teams, that were heavily encouraged to major in communications, sociology. Not that those are bad majors, but that they were dissuaded from majoring in things like business or economics or something in the sciences. So if you're guaranteed, if your compensation is, a scholarship, then it should be that you should be able to major in whatever you want. And you should be able to come back to school if you leave early because you want to support your family at any time. So that's just a few things that I've taken away from the term student athlete that they use. Now, if you guys want to catch #facts and shot caller of the week, tune into my Instagram at the Lowdown Podcast. Thank you so much for joining today's show, for tuning in. Thank you to my special guests, both Elijah Stewart and Aaron Holiday, for joining us on the show. And be sure to follow me at Lojo Media on all social media platforms. Stay tuned for next week. It'll be another guest, another episode, same time. Check it out. Thanks, guys.